Hi guys, Harry here from the Art Gear Guy. Thank you so much for joining me today. As you can see, this video is about the Derwent Chromaflow 150 set. Again, this is going to be the last time I comment anything about this ongoing thing. But I think in my not the review video that I did, the one that I've just put out there about the Derwent Chromaflow 150 Calamity thing, I think I've probably not really explained and expressed myself properly in that video, which all too often happens to be the case with my videos. I don't script my videos, I just talk how I feel, kind of like off the cuff, which gets me into trouble an awful lot of the time, but not this time. But nevertheless, I don't think I've really explained myself. So I think a lot of people thought, or I came across to a lot of people as if I was saying, you know, that it was my fault Derwent made this decision. That wasn't really quite what I was getting at. When I said I felt guilty, what I meant was, when I do a review, I feel I have an obligation. If I'm going to sit and talk about a product, okay, especially a product that's going to cost a lot of money, and somebody's going to go out and possibly purchase one of those products that I'm reviewing based on what I'm telling them, I have an obligation to make sure that I get the information correct, which was the reason why whenever I started getting into the reviews, I stopped going around and looking on chat forums and stuff like that for information, because all of that information is interesting and it's wonderful reading through it, but it's speculatory at best. And the rest of it is filled with all sorts of nonsense and everything else. And everything gets foggy in the midst of it all, which was the reason why I worked very, very hard to get connections with all the companies, so that whenever they came out with a product or they were doing something, they were changing a product or whatever, I could contact somebody at that company and have a conversation with them about it and get exactly what was going on from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And so that's how I did my reviews going forward. Now, when it came round to this set of the Derwent Chromaflow, I know somebody is mentioned that no, not all of the Derwent sets were open stock. Yes, a tin of 6 pencils weren't officially open stock. They were sold in the Derwent Museum open stock, and that was the Derwent Black and White set. But officially, yes, that 6 tin set wasn't open stock. And either was the Derwent Academy. But all of their flagship products were open stock. The Chromaflow, or sorry, the Colour Soft, the Pro Color, the Derwent Artist, the Lightfast, the Studio, their graphite pencils, their charcoal pencils, the Derwent Drawn range, the Graphitint, they're all open stock. And so whenever I got the opportunity to do this review, this 150 set of Chromaflow, I knew that review was not going to be really about the characteristics of the pencil, like the core size, the barrel size. None of that information really mattered, because I'd already did 2 reviews and there was already lots of other excellent reviews out there about that. This review was going to be about the additional 78 colours that are in the range over the 72 set, and so that's what I put out. Now, I spoke about this to Derwent and asked them, was there anything new to add to it, and they said no. They didn't answer. They basically just said, no, everything that we've said here, that's that. Now, if they knew that there was, out of 150 tin, there was 50 of those pencils that weren't going to be sold open stock, right? Whenever they were talking to me, or perhaps, okay, let's rephrase that, because I know people are can jump on things very, very quickly. Perhaps the person who I was talking to didn't know that, but certainly the company knew that. Somebody in the company knew that they weren't going to be selling the full 150 range open stock. So me not being told that, I think, is a little bit unfair to the people that are buying Derwent's product. Derwent have a right to not sell products. They've got a right to do whatever they want. It's their company. That was never my issue. My issue was never what they've done is wrong and blah blah blah, right? If say Caran d'Ache or Faber-Castell decided tomorrow that they're not going to sell red anymore in their line, they're not going to have red colours in their coloured pencil sets, that would be on them. They have the right to do that. But I would bet that if they just decided that within a board meeting that's what they were going to do going forward, but they weren't really going to say anything to anybody, they were just going to leave it in some small print on their website somewhere, the next time people started spending a lot of money on those sets and opening them up and there was no red in there, people would start to feel a little bit cheated, a little bit unfairly done by that. And I think that they would have a good reason to feel like that. However, if they made a big splash about it and said, listen, going forward, we're not doing this anymore, and they sent that notification out to all of their suppliers as well, which doesn't take much in this day and age. It's an email. All of these companies like Dick Blick's and Jerry's and all the rest of it, they all have all these conventions and meetings and all the rest of it with all these big companies. All it would take is something like that. Now, I know I'm getting off the beaten track here. Bottom line is, my issue isn't with the fact that they're not doing this. My issue is the fact that they didn't inform their customers properly about this. And there's people saying, all you've got to do is go on to this site and read about it or Google it or something like that. And yes, that is true. You can Google it, but you've got to know that to be Googling it in the first place. Why would you be Googling if this next set of Derwents, bearing in mind that up until now there's been a 72 set, all of which were open stock, there would be no reason for anybody. You can only find out information if you're looking for it. The only reason people are looking for it now is because we're talking about it, because it's been discovered. Not because Derwent came out and said, this is what's happening going forward. If you go onto the Derwent website, the only way you know that this is what's happening is if you go and you look at the colour charts and they've got the little dots on the colours that are sold open stock. That's it. There's not any... Normally, whenever Derwent come out with a new product, that product will feature on their homepage. As it is now, the Derwent Chromaflow and the Derwent Inktense, they both feature heavily on their homepage. It takes nothing to put a banner up there just highlighting only 100 out of the 150 are open stock. It takes nothing to do that. Now, the reasons behind why Derwent are doing it, there are millions of reasons why they could be doing it, and every one of them is valid. My issue isn't with the reason behind it. My issue is not letting the customers know about it properly. That was my issue, and I don't think it's wrong for me to come forward and say that I think Derwent have done this wrong. I think Derwent have gone about this the wrong way. And again, I'm not talking about the fact that they're not selling the full 150 open stock. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that it was not advertised to their customers that this was what was happening, and giving people the information they needed to decide whether they were going to go and buy the 100 set or the 150 set, which, if anybody is, most people in the situation that we're all in now would go and buy the 100 set if they're going to buy any of the sets. And I also know as well, some people will say, well, I know and other reviewers that I've spoken to, we all know that the industry is coming under heavy pressure because of all of these really cheap alternative pencils that are out there. And I'm not a business person. I've got no idea how they would combat that. I really don't. But I don't think one of the ways that they combat that is by bringing out a set like this and only giving 50. These other sets don't sell their products open stock, and the reason why they don't sell it open stock is because logistically it would be a nightmare for them to ship off one pencil to one person in America and ship off another one to somebody in the UK. Logistically that just wouldn't work out, because they don't have like a central factory like Derwent does, or Faber-Castell, or Carandice does. So logistically it would be a nightmare. But the big difference there is that most of these cheaper sets they're cheaper. Some of them are like 60 quid for 120 pencils. The 150 set from Derwent, if you go onto their website, I believe it's like 260 or 230 pound. So £230. I know I was able to find a cheaper set on Amazon, but ordinarily they're about £230 for 150 pencils, but only 100 of which you're going to be able to replace. I can't work out how any company would think that this would work. I could understand if Derwent released the full 150, sold them open stock, and maybe next year turned around and said, right, okay, listen, there's 50 of these colours just are not selling properly, so we're just going to reduce it down to the 100 set or something like that. I don't know. I just don't understand why they released the 150 set, but only really 100 of the colours are open stock. I don't get how it works, and I have no doubt that sometime in the future something's going to change. Whether they drop the 150 set and just sell the 100 set, or whether they do the 150 open stock, goodness knows. I'm sure something will change, but by then a lot of people will have already spent a lot of money on something. And you see, maybe it's because, maybe I think like this because I am so financially struggling at the minute. So when I do reviews and stuff like that, I don't automatically assume everybody's in the same situation, but I do it from that standpoint. I do my reviews from the standpoint of not everybody has a lot of money, and these products are quite costly, but at the same time these products are important to people. You know, people suffering with mental health or what have you, or it's somebody's business. It's part of somebody's business. It's part of somebody's idea and their dream to get out of the financial hole that they're in and move forward. So I'm always looking at that aspect of it, and that's why it's so important to me that the information I provide on my reviews is accurate and honest. It's because of that reason. So I'll wrap this up, because I don't want to go on about this. It's just I've read a lot of the comments. I haven't been able to respond to them because I've been in absolute agony for the last 2 or 3 days. I'm just in so much pain I can hardly move. But I wanted to make this video. I thought making this video was easier than sitting down and typing and stuff like that at the minute. But I have read all the comments, and like I say, 1 or 2 comments have come in about people saying, it's not illegal what Derwent they're doing, or they're not doing anything wrong, and I've never said that they're doing anything wrong with regards to not selling the full 150 open stock. I've never said that they're doing anything wrong. I just think it was wrong that they didn't advertise it properly to their customers, and they could have done that through people like me as well. Companies like Derwent and all these other big companies, they use people, I don't mean they use people like me, like use and abuse. I mean, they use people like me to help get their product out there to their customer base. And so they knew what I was doing. We spoke about it. They wanted the product, the review to be released on their launch day for a reason. And I was just, and then when I went back to them again, once I heard all of this, you know, only 150 pencils or only 100 pencils are open stock, the other 50 are not. When I contacted my contact at Derwent and asked them about that, the reply was so cryptic. It really was. It was not like, that's true. That's what we're doing. It wasn't like that at all. And then when I sent the third email through saying, listen, right, okay, obviously this is what you're doing. Can you please tell me what the official Derwent line is on this matter? You know, is there a reason behind this? Would you like to tell your customers what that reason is? Would you like to, you know, would you like to just let us know what's going on, please? Because we are the ones that are buying the products. We don't have a right to know, but we would like to know. So is there any giveaway here? And I still not had anything back from them. I think I've probably annoyed and offended them, and that's not what I've set out to do. All I've set out to do is talk the truth and put the truth out there and let people know before they go out and waste money on a 150 set that they're not going to be able to replenish. Anyway guys, that's all I wanted to say on this matter. Hopefully we'll get some clarity later on down the line about what's going on here. We'll get some clarity about whether Derwent are going to change their mind and put the whole 150 out, or whether they're going to drop the 150 and just sell the 100 tin. Whatever Derwent choose to do, I'm sure we'll find out about it sooner or later. I just hope that whatever they choose to do, they just let us know, rather than putting something on their website and hoping that we all just find it. I think that's wrong. I don't think that's the right way to go about doing things. But anyway, that's just my opinion on it. Anyway guys, I'll speak to you all again very, very soon, and thank you for putting up with all of this ranting over the past couple of days. All the best guys, bye.